I put on lingerie for my boyfriend and he was dissatisfied, making my confidence plummet. I am 20 years old in a 2-year relationship with my 25-year-old boyfriend. I am an empathetic HSP, highly sensitive person, while he is extremely a blunt, opinionated hyper-masculine man. For the past month, we have been consistently arguing, disagreeing with each other. Now, I'm going to tell you what happened last night that was supposed to be a romantic evening that ended up being a bust. So, after a month of constant arguing and disagreements, we finally went on a date night and had a good time. The next day, I had a special sexy night planned for us. I had a maid lingerie set ready to wear and I was going to cook us a good meal. It was my attempt to basically make up and create an intimate moment for us so that we can start craving each other again. Now, it's the night and he's over at my place, unaware of the special night I have planned. I excitedly went to the bathroom to change into my lingerie, and when I reappeared in my sexy outfit, feeling cute and sexy, my boyfriend said with an unimpressed look on his face, "So that's what took you so long in the bathroom?" Deadpan face. I say, "Yes," smile, and then he proceeds to ask me, "Who bought that?" "You bought that? Why?" Face with raised eyebrow, and it instantly killed my mood. I then ask him if he liked it, hoping he would point out something that looks nice about me. But he then says, I don't really care for it. I like it better when you wore when we went on our date." After hearing that I felt unsexy and embarrassed, it actually hurt my feelings. I then left again to change into regular clothes, but then he said, "I never said it was ugly. You wore the lingerie because that's what you like, not me. You should have asked me first." I understand that, but I felt his reaction was so harsh. I just began to cry. Hard crying. I felt that my efforts weren't good enough to him. Our relationship is lacking intimacy, and here I am trying to fix it, but it's not in the exact way he wants it. Never did he compliment me. He didn't even comfort me as I was crying. When I told him that what he said, his reaction hurt my feelings, he flipped it on me that it's my fault I'm hurt, not his. He's always telling me that I'm too sensitive, when I really just want his to acknowledge my efforts and my feelings too. He's an excellent gaslighter. I just wanted us to have an intimate, comforting night. I wanted him to see how hard I'm trying. But I guess it wasn't good enough. P.S. We didn't end up having sex. I stormed out and left him by himself, and I didn't finish preparing the meal. Now we're not speaking to each other. I am tired of being minimized by him. IDK what to do. Edit. I am adding more details to this post that I left out at first. If you are constantly arguing, have you considered that this is the wrong relationship for the two of you and no amount of workarounds will just fix things? I read what you say here but can't really get past how you argue all the time. I am sure you will mention something about how you love each other. But loving someone doesn't mean you are in love with the right person for them to be your partner. Genuine question. Why are you with him? This isn't how a relationship should be. It's not all rainbows and declarations of endless love, but this ain't it either. You're not talking now. Break up for good. A 23-year-old has no business dating an 18-year-old. You seem like a kind, considerate person. I believe you should really rethink being with him. Sounds like the two of you are just no longer compatible. And focus all the energy you're giving him, the relationship, onto yourself. Girl, get rid of him. I honestly just see you being even more hurt in the future if you stay with this dud. Girlfriend broke up with me because I didn't text her while she was sleeping. Last night, I was hanging out with my close friends. We were playing board games, drinking, and simply having a good time. My girlfriend and I had just got off of the phone and she had told me she was going to sleep and I wished her good night. The next morning, I noticed she called me 7 times while I was sleeping. She called me the 8th time and she was furious about the fact that I didn't text her while I was there and that I didn't let her know I made it home that night. I will admit, I believe it was my fault for not at least telling her when I got home. However, I believe she was overreacting about the fact that she wanted me to talk to her, after saying she was going to sleep. She broke up with me because of this and I don't know how to feel about it and really unsure if what I did was that bad. Thoughts? She was looking for an excuse to dump op. Block number, move on. Last I checked, telling someone good night means you're done talking to them until the following day. It's stupid to keep texting someone you know is sleeping. If I kept hearing text notifications while I was trying to sleep, I'd be pretty angry. Are you a child? Why do you need to check in when you get home? Are you guys like 14? This seems very immature. Good riddance, you dodged a gigantic bullet. Sounds like she did you a favor. That's crazy. My 30F boyfriend, 30M, of 5 months keeps accusing me of cheating. This morning he woke me up with kisses on my neck, being sweet. He whispers, "Look, I get turned on by just laying next to you." He was hard, we had sex. After I went up to make him breakfast in bed and he looked really happy because I put some extra effort into it. After breakfast we have sex again, but after we finish this time, his mood completely shifts. I asked him if everything was all right and he says, yes, but I guess that's not completely true, so I keep asking him what's wrong, because his voice sounds angry. I'm not allowed to talk about that, he says. I instantly knew he was thinking about me with other guys, cheating. Last weekend he sat on phone and screamed at me until I completely fell apart in tears, and beyond, about cheating. I have never cheated on him. We meet very often and when I'm not with him I sit home studying, playing PC games or hang with my dog. I barely have friends or family. I like it like this, but it's ironic how he still finds some way to accuse me. The reason he said he's not allowed to talk about it is because we both after that agreed to not talk about that again. He apologized sincerely to me and said he trusts I don't cheat. He thinks I cheat on him because I lied to him about what I did on New Year's. We weren't dating the last New Year's Eve. We started dating a month too-ish after, but we talked about the evening sometime. Since I am quite a loner I told him I had a friend over, out of embarrassment of the truth. Truth was that I was just on a walk with my dad, then went home alone and went to bed. He uses this lie of mine to justify all accusations of cheating that he comes up with. He drags things up out of nowhere and says, I'm not accusing you. Maybe my drug-induced mind is just remembering things wrong, with the drug-induced thing being sarcasm. He's currently trying to get sober from alcohol, weed and speed abuse. I'm trying to be sweet and overlook things and support him in this. I don't know if he genuinely thinks I'm cheating on him or if it's some drug paranoia or if it's a way to control me. How can I let him know that these accusations hurt me deeply? Is this abusive behavior from him? It feels like he does it to blame shift sometimes, for example if he has done something hurtful to me. Too long did not read. Boyfriend falsely accuses me of cheating regularly. Last weekend he sat on phone and screamed at me until I completely fell apart in tears, and beyond, about cheating. Bro. Get away from this PSHYCO. Yelling at you on the phone until you break down crying is abuse. Constantly accusing you of something awful that you haven't done is abuse. I feel like none of this need even be said. It's abuse and nobody should stick around to be abused. I guess I don't get what you need to hear from random people on Reddit that isn't extremely blatant common sense. You're 30. You definitely know better than this. So what really is the deal here? Your boyfriend sounds so pathetic. Such a baby. I'm sorry, but from a psychological and behavioral standpoint, cheaters will often accuse their partners of cheating because they themselves are doing it. Your boyfriend sounds like a paranoid, controlling psycho. You need to leave him before you end up in pieces in his freezer, or worse. He's abusive, toxic, and addicted to drugs? Who are you turning down if this is the guy you chose? This is not okay. My husband and I are in disagreement, in desperate need for different opinions. Good afternoon. For context, I am 34, my husband is 37. He has a brother, Brad, who is 25. Brad dated Kelsey, 24, for 10 years. They began dating when they were freshmen in high school. Their first date was actually my wedding. They were engaged for 2 years before Kelsey found out that Brad had cheated on her multiple times the year before, and was still in contact and sending lewd texts to the woman he cheated on her with. This all came out about 4 weeks ago. The entire family was devastated, and furious with Brad, who told Kelsey she could have the apartment and moved in with a friend over an hour and a half away. I think he just wanted to be far away from everything. It was weird because Kelsey was a part of the family for so long it was hard to just turn that off. And obviously we didn't. She's going through a really traumatic time and needs support. Even so, I think it does reach a point where the family has to separate from her, since the only connecting thing, Kelsey and Brad's relationship, is now gone. My husband, however, seems to think that since he's regarded Kelsey as a little sister for so long, she should be treated as such. I come home multiple times a week to her over the house. When I ask my husband about it, he says he'll text her and ask her how she's feeling, and if she says she's feeling down, he'll invite her over to cheer her up. A few nights ago she was over, and while I was putting the kids to bed, my husband offered her a drink and they began drinking downstairs at the bar in our den. I had a medical procedure the next morning. Nothing that was a big deal, but something I was supposed to be up and out early for. I didn't need my husband to come with me or anything, but I had mentioned that I would have liked if he would. He ended up offering the guest room to Kelsey, who was up and out early, and then slept in until an hour after I had come home. He has TikTok and just follows her, and a few other big accounts, but she's the only one he follows personally. The one thing I thought he did that I thought way overstepped, and what prompted me to have a conversation with him, is that the family is going on a 2-week vacation to Belize. The house is owned by my in-laws, so we go there often, and Kelsey has come many times. My husband invited her to come to this trip as well, which I think is odd since she is no longer dating Brad, who isn't coming on the vacation. When I had the conversation with my husband about how I thought he was crossing some boundaries with Kelsey, he got very defensive and said I was being heartless for wanting to just write Kelsey off. I tried to explain to him that I wasn't trying to write her off, but since she no longer had ties to the family, why would she come? If she began dating someone tomorrow, would we let her being her new partner? My husband and I have two very opposing standpoints here, and I'm trying to come up with a way to compromise. Okay, there's room for compromise. No one needs to boot Kelsey out of the family that she has been a part of for 10 years. However, your husband does need to make you and the kids a priority. So there's no reason for Kelsey not to be included in things, but when you tell your husband you need him to be available to you for things like your medical procedure, then he needs to be there. I would be very uncomfortable with the amount of alone time they're spending together, personally. Perhaps setting boundaries such as hanging out as a group with you included would make you more comfortable? You're uncomfortable. It's your marriage, and it's inappropriate for him to invite her on the holiday, because how's that going to play out? She and him go and do fun activities while you're taking care of your children? Nope. I've typed and deleted so many times. I personally would feel uncomfortable. Was your husband this involved with her life before she and Brad broke up? Did they hang out at your house often? Staying up late drinking together just sounds really weird to me. I don't know what specific line it crosses, but I don't like it. How many people are going on this family vacation? Anyone else close to her age? 10 years is a long-term relationship, but it's not that long, and they didn't have children together. So I just don't see why she would still be considered part of the family. He definitely can support her, but he's crossing dangerous boundaries. For dangerous I mean, he's spending a lot of alone time with a newly single young woman. This could end bad. Why does this feel like your husband has had a thing for Kelsey, and now that she is free, he sees the opportunity he never had? It's creepy, to be perfectly honest. He wants to be around her constantly, but that isn't support, it's just odd, especially considering their past, as said by Op. Honestly, watch out. Support doesn't look like this, but obsession does. There are just too many cases of guys leaving their wives in these situations. That something here is pinging is not right.